When most of us think of insurance ads, we picture some poor sap who's up to their elbows in it, floodwater, smoke, or a dog with a vendetta. Following this is usually some comforting narration along the lines of, "Aren't you glad you're with us?" While we'd often like to think that the service insurance provides is peace of mind, this is often an illusion that shatters the minute you find yourself in actual trouble. In reality, there's very little difference between insurance companies and the mafia.
Nice car you got there. Be a shame if something happened to it. Better pay up just in case. Capiche?
The only difference is that mobsters are usually polite enough not to leave you on hold for 45 minutes. That, and broken kneecaps don't usually hurt as much as a claim being denied. Let's break it down a bit more though, shall we? Consider this. You spend 10 years paying premiums, never missing a single one or making a claim. Everything you'd expect would keep you in their good books, right? But then something actually happens. The exact something that was the reason you took out the policy in the first place. Suddenly, you find yourself in a courtroom drama, being asked to provide receipts from 2006, DNA from your grandmother, and photo evidence that the house wasn't on fire by choice. Seriously, you'd have been better off putting those premiums into a term deposit account all that time. Heck, stuffing them under your mattress would have even been smarter. If only a denied claim was grounds for having all that wasted money refunded. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. If it were, then the entire insurance industry would collapse harder than your roof during that unforeseeable weather event. Ever read an insurance policy in its entirety? No, of course you haven't. Much like no one ever reads terms and conditions. Don't worry, those are getting their own video. Insurance policies are compiled by caffeine-fueled lawyers in Sumerian syntax and are loaded with triple negatives and clauses written in invisible ink. Don't worry, we will definitely not refrain from refusing to not help you if you do in fact not need it. Unless you do, in which case we will. Did any of that make sense to you? No? Good. It's not supposed to. These things are written to be twisted into whatever shape the companies need to avoid doing anything. We're sorry, but your policy only covers acts of God, and as he has not formally claimed responsibility, there is nothing we can do at this time. Also, at this company, we worship Satan. Honestly, don't try to challenge these people unless you want to start debating philosophy. Was the damage accidental? Yes. But was it truly accidental? Yes. But then of course, that depends how you define accidental, doesn't it? Now, if I have any American viewers, I'm sure you're all waiting for me to discuss health insurance. Thing is, as you may have guessed from my accent, I live in Australia. Basically, we once asked why is this a thing to the question of health insurance, and it actually solved the problem. Thank you, Hawkeye, you dead-set Aussie legend. For those of you still living outside the sophisticated world, however, I'll try to understand your plight. Seriously, you think our country is upside down? Ha! Find yourself coughing up blood and hallucinating an alternate dimension? Better make sure your insurance covers that before checking yourself into a hospital, unless you want to end up bankrupt. Not to name any names, but this guy here? He may have had a point, albeit an excessively violent one. Not condoning, just saying. Seriously, if I need a medical degree to tell the difference between a thoracic complaint and a chest-based one, then why even see a doctor? And heaven forbid you need an ambulance. The bill for that will leave you wondering if you're glad you survived. No disrespect to paramedics here. They're the real heroes. I'm just complaining about the lack of a financial safety net for victims is all. Let's assume though that you've survived unscathed, but your car hasn't. Car insurance. The process of basically paying someone to never take your side. The minute some meth gremlin rear-ends you while filming a TikTok, they'll claim you were 15% at fault for existing in his trajectory. So they're only covering the damage dealt to his ego. Feel like all this stress is causing your survival odds to sharply decline? Then maybe consider life insurance, or simply put, betting against yourself. At least there's the comfort of knowing your family is taken care of. Minus processing and admin fees, of course. Or as I like to call them, bureaucracy tax. For those of us with disposable income though, or a fur baby that we're overly attached to, how about pet insurance? Because nothing quite says effective spending like paying $60 a month for your insurer to not cover your pug's surgery. because he was bred to have the lung capacity of a plastic bag. So, why is insurance a thing? Because uncertainty sucks, and someone realised they could turn the threat of being trampled by the universe's boot into a revenue stream. And because we live in a chaotic world that inflames our desire for control, or at the very least, compensation in the face of unfairness. Good luck getting that in the face of weaponized complexity, though. Insurance isn't about safety, it's about betting against misfortune with a deck that's stacked against payouts. Just like any casino, the house always wins. At the end of the day, you're not buying protection, you're buying the illusion of it, complete with a payment system that's about as gentle as a sledgehammer. What's your worst insurance story? Drop a comment below, and don't forget to smash like and subscribe like you're Mr. Incredible finally snapping and tossing his boss through several meters of drywall. Thanks for watching, stay safe out there, and if you're covered, just remember, if something sounds too good to be true, it's probably deductible.